So, hello students, welcome to the discussion on weekly class test 23. So, today we shall be discussing two questions, one from GS paper 2 that is polity and second is GS paper 3 that is Indian economy. Okay, so let's start our discussion. Our first question is on President of India. So, the question is discuss the roles and functions of the President of India. So, this is first part of the question. Second part is also explain his role as ceremonial head of the state and guardian of Indian Constitution. So basically our question has two parts. First part is asking about the roles and functions of the President of India, and the second part is asking to explain these two terms, that why we call the President of India as ceremonial head of the state, and second is why we call him as guardian of Indian Constitution. Okay, so second part will be this. So first discuss what will be the basic structure of our answer. So as we write always, it will be introduction, body and conclusion, and you have to address all the three parts. Okay, so in introduction basically you can just introduce with the articles in the Constitution, that is article 52 and 53. We will discuss this in detail. In body we have already discussed that you have to write about these two parts. First part will be roles and functions, second part will be explanation of these two phrases. Okay, so this will be the body. And conclusion, as always conclusion should be a forward looking, a positive conclusion. So we will conclude our answer accordingly. Okay, so basically our answer should have these three parts. Now starting with the introduction. So in introduction you can start with article 52 and 53. What article 52 says? There shall be President of India. Okay, what article 53 says? The executive power of union lies with the President of India. Okay, so basically you can introduce your answer in other way also. For example, generally students have the practice to start with current affairs, that where if the topic of president is in the current affairs news, so they can start with that topic also. So okay, so even if you don't know anything, you can start with the articles in the Constitution. Very easy introduction, right? Now coming to the body. So basically in body the first part you have to address, that is roles and functions of President of India. Okay, so see there are various roles and functions you can discuss. I will discuss 4 or 5 major functions. Okay, so basically first I will discuss about the executive functions of President of India. See, it is very easy to remember whenever you write about the executive functions, whenever you write about the legislative functions, relate with that body. For example, if I am talking about executive functions, how you can relate the President of India with the executive body? Okay, so how you can relate? I can say that President has the power to appoint the Prime Minister of India, and Prime Minister is the part of executive body, right? So I can say that President appoints Prime Minister of India, and President also appoints Council of Ministers on the advice of Prime Minister of India. So what I did, I related the executive body with the President of India. So I can say these are the executive powers of President. Now talking about the legislative functions of President. So legislative functions means you have to relate the President of India with the Parliament. Then only we can say legislative functions, right? So basically you can discuss 2-3 functions here. For example, President has the power to dissolve Lok Sabha, right? You might have learned this. Whenever a motion of no confidence is passed in the Parliament, he has the power to dissolve Lok Sabha, right? Second, what you can say, after general elections, President addresses both the houses of Parliament. Okay, even a small function which is related with the Parliament you can include in the legislative functions, right? Now third, you can say that President has the power to summon both the houses of Parliament. What do I mean by summon? For example, you might have learned about the joint sitting in the Parliament, right? So who has the power to summon joint sitting? That is President of India. But who has the power to preside the joint sitting? That is Speaker of Lok Sabha. So that is completely different topic, but I am giving an example. He can summon the Parliament in many ways, but joint sitting is just an example. Okay, so here I have discussed legislative functions. Now talking about judicial functions. So basically judicial functions you have to relate President with judiciary, right? So President has the power to appoint the judges of Supreme Court and High Court, right? So this is very easy thing you can write. Appoint the judges of Supreme Court and High Court. Okay, now coming to fourth function, I can discuss here about financial powers. So as you know that the money bill can only be introduced in the parliament with the recommendation of president. Okay, there are other financial functions also, but I am discussing just with one or two examples. So here you can write about money bill. Next, you can also discuss about the military powers of president, that no, president is called commander in chief of all the armed forces in India. Okay, now sixth, I can discuss about the emergency powers. So as you might have learned that we read about basically three emergencies, that is national emergency, president rule and financial emergency. But for all the three type of emergencies, president has the power to proclaim that emergency, right? President rule and financial emergency. So here in all three emergencies, president has the power to proclaim. The power of approval is with the parliament, but president has the power to proclaim that emergency, right? So here I have addressed the first part. That was the roles and functions of the president. Okay, now coming to the second question. So first we have to address why president is called ceremonial head of the state. Okay, so here you can discuss the two factors. Why president is called ceremonial ceremonial head of the state, because all the decisions, all the signatures are made on the name of President of India. That's why we call him as ceremonial head of the state. So all the decisions are made on his name. Second thing is, President of India represents our country on the global stage. So that's why we can say that President is the ceremonial head of the state. So represents India on the global stage. So in this way we address this part. Now coming to the second part, why he is called guardian of Indian Constitution. Okay, so see, basically what happens, as you know how a bill becomes an act. You know the procedure, right? That for a bill to become an act, this requires the assent or consent of President of India, right? So that's why we say that President is called the guardian of Indian Constitution, because if the President thinks that the intentions behind the bill are not good, they are ill intentioned, then President has the power not to give the assent to that act. If the President thinks that the subject of the bill is not according to the principles of the Constitution, he can choose not to give assent. So in a way we can say President act as the guardian of Indian Constitution. Second thing, President has the power to return the bill for the reconsideration. If he thinks the intentions are not good, first thing what he can do, he can completely decline that no, I am not giving the consent to the bill. Second thing what he can do, if he thinks that no corrections can be made and the bill can be introduced again, he has the power to return the bill and ask the executive body to reconsider that bill. Okay, so in this way we can say President acts as the guardian of Indian Constitution or principles of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so we discussed, we addressed all the both the parts of the question. So we are done with introduction, body. Now coming to conclusion. So you can conclude in many ways. No, if I am talking about simple conclusion, you can say that no, President is a very important body or very important component which helps to secure the democratic fabric of our country, or which helps to secure the democratic nature of India. Democratic nature of India. Okay, so in this way, but you can conclude the answer in any way, not an issue. Okay, so I think we are done with first question. Now coming to second question, which is from GS paper 3, and it is from India stock markets. Okay, so the question is, what is stock market? Second question is, discuss the laws for regulation of stock markets in India, along with the role of SEBI, that is Securities and Exchange Board of India, in ensuring stable stock markets in India. Okay, so talking about the structure. So basically in structure, if you have something from current affairs, you can start the answer from the news in the current affairs, or you can simply define the stock market, anything you can do. In the body, first you have to discuss the laws. which are governing the stock markets in India, and second you have to discuss the role of SEBI, and thirdly you can conclude your answer. Okay, so starting. So basically here I am starting the answer by defining the stock markets. So basically what is a stock market? Stock market, we can say stock market is a venue where the buyers and sellers of securities or share meet together to exchange those shares or securities. Okay, so basically it is a venue where buyers and sellers meet for the exchange of securities or shares of public company. Why I am saying public company? Because for example I am a company, I am a limited company now, private company or limited company, and I want the public to invest in my shares. So for that I have to list myself in the stock market. After listing in the stock market, my name, the name private will be deleted from the name of my company. Now I will become a public listed company. So what is happening in stock market? The buyers and sellers meet together to exchange the shares of public company, right? Of public company. Okay, so I have discussed what is stock market. Now I will discuss the laws governing the stock market. So first law I will discuss is the SEBI Act only, SEBI Act of 1992. So you can write about 1 or 2 points about all the laws. So SEBI Act basically established the body which is called SEBI, that is Securities and Exchange Board of India. Okay. And the main purpose of SEBI Act is to ensure a stable stock market and to impose the penalties for any violations. So general points you can write about it. Now second law I will discuss will be insider trade regulations. Insider trade regulations. So what these regulations say, that insider trading is completely prohibited. Insider trading is completely prohibited. What do I mean with insider trading? For example, I am an employee of particular company and I have access to some confidential data which I am not supposed to give to anyone, but I am using that confidential data for my benefit and for trading purpose so that I can earn the profit. So this is known as insider trading, that I am exposing the insider information, confidential information of company in the outside. Okay, so the insider trade regulation completely prohibits these things. Okay, now the third law which I will be talking about is the securities transaction. Sorry. What securities transaction rule says here? No, these rules or regulations are for the stock brokers, in the market. So they provide the rules and regulations for the stock brokers in the market. Okay. Now coming to the fourth law, I will talk about the Company Act of 2013. So in company, see, every company try to issue its shares in the market, right? Shares or equities. So basically it deals with the issue of securities or shares of the company in the market, that how many shares should be issued, what should be the valuation of that share, these all things. Okay, so issue of shares of company in the market. So basically we have discussed the laws. Now what was the second part of our question? We have discussed the law. Second part of the question is the role of SEBI in ensuring stable stock market. Okay, so I will discuss here only. What is the role of SEBI? So see, first role which I can say, see, we have already discussed about the insider trading. Okay, so mainly the role of SEBI is to address the issue of insider trading. And when SEBI is addressing this issue, no, so it ensures fair price discovery. What do I mean by this? See, if a person do not have any insider information, so the discovery of price of any share will be transparent, right? Because everyone is having equal amount of information. No one is having extra information which can give him or her an edge. Okay, so if SEBI is addressing the issue of insider trading, it ensures fair price discovery of any particular share and ensures a transparent process. Okay, second thing which I can discuss about the role is, see, the rules and regulations of SEBI are very strict, and if the regulations are strict, no, so if for example I am an investor, so I will be having a confidence that no, I will not be at loss about a year or after 1 year or 2 years, because the rules and regulations are strict and the penalties will be imposed by SEBI. So in a way I can say that it ensures investors' confidence. It ensures investors' confidence. So third point is related only. It imposes penalties for the violations. Penalties for the violations. And no, for penalties you can discuss the role of SEBI in the case of Satyam Computers. Okay, you can read about this case study, role of SEBI in Satyam Computers. Okay, and fourth point is very general, but we can discuss that. No, basically SEBI ensures that a businessman get a particular amount of money. SEBI ensures that many businesses list themselves in the stock market, get the money for the business, for their own business, and help in the growth and prosperity of country. Okay, so basically, as we know, that whenever a country get investment, okay, so whenever investment is done, it ensures the job, the growth in the country. So basically we can say the SEBI helps the businesses to get money to grow their own business and help in the development of the country. Okay, so I think we have discussed the role of SEBI also in ensuring stable stock market. And yes, then you can conclude the answer which we have already discussed with this line. You can conclude the answer that no, a stable stock market ensures the flow of investment in the country, and gradually it can ensure the inclusive development in India. Okay, and you can conclude in any other way also. You can conclude with the recent initiative of SEBI if you have read anything in the current affairs. Okay, so I think we are done with both these questions. So that's all from my side, and thank you.